Hey guys, welcome back. So now we're jumping back into Avengers Forever, Volume 2, which is a bit all over the place at times, but it comes back together for the most part. But for this one, we're going to be revisiting some of the far future moments from Jason Aaron's God of Thunder and King Thor, which had a ton of amazing things that are just going to come crashing into this story. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week. And don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so with how this begins, we do a bit of a pivot from what we've seen going on so far in the story, because it's here where we head to Midgard at the end of time, in an era that some of you guys may remember right off the bat. But for those who don't, I'll take a moment to fill you in, because this world that had been established for eons into the future, we were first introduced to it in Jason Aaron's God of Thunder when we visited past, present, and future Thor. But at that time in issue 23, we went eons into the future and we saw an insane battle between King Thor and Galactus, which led King Thor to seek desperate measures, such as retrieving the Necrosword to defeat Galactus and save Midgard. Even though at this point humanity has been gone since Loki annihilated it years ago. But for King Thor, after he defeated old Galactus, he had then bled to the earth, and when his blood touched the ground, his god blood restored the land, which of course was a byproduct of his mother being Gaia, the elder god, mother of earth, mother of nature. But this had eventually then later led to the rebirth of the human race, and Midgard starting over pretty much, under the name of New Midgard. But of course, this happy ending wasn't long-lived, with King Thor having to leave New Midgard, because at this point things just started popping off left and right, like with him fighting Wolverine, who also had the Phoenix Force, and I got the link below for anyone who's new who may have missed our talk on that, because eventually Thor's granddaughters, the Goddesses of Thunder, faced an invasion that involved Fing Fang Boom along with a ton of monsters that was being led by the ghost-ridingest, iron-fistedness, star brand master of the mysticness Dr. Doom you've ever seen. Only for all of this then to be followed by the return of Gore the God Butcher, who eventually became the thing he hated the most. But I say all of this to just quickly paint the picture of this distant future, because this is also the last place that we had seen King Thor, with him sharing his final words with Mjolnir, as well as sharing with his granddaughters his last will and testament, with him leaving Mjolnir and New Midgard to them. And at the time this ended with King Thor heading off into the void for the rest of time to single-handedly hold back the entropy that was destroying the universe, which really gave us this sacrificial ending of Thor holding up the pillars of creation for all eternity. And now in Avengers Forever, Jason Aaron has brought us back to this distant future at the end of time, on New Midgard, which is being watched over by Thor's granddaughters, Elsif, Frigg, and Atli, who've come together to interpret this thunder that has come to New Midgard, which usually for this world would be a sign of hope, but this time the three of them interpret it differently, with Frigg hearing it as fear, Elsif hearing it as a cry of pain, and Atli hearing it as a call to war. And with how this is happening, they see this as a calling from their grandfather, King Thor, but at the same time they're not sure if this is like the moment when one of them should lift the hammer as it starts levitating, but then at a moment's notice it starts raining phoenix fire and brimstone, which then lets them know, with it being too lethal to just be a message from their grandfather, this chaotic combination gives them a sign that something else is going on. And there has to be more to it, because amongst it raining phoenix fire from the sky, down also comes the yet living severed hand of old man Phoenix Wolverine, who they immediately recognize. But with seeing all this randomness, Frigg and Atli turn to Elsif, who's the smartest of the three, to get her opinion on what all of this means. And Elsif tells them that this has to be something grave if it can tear the longest living phoenix into shreds. And this has to be something from beyond even their universe. So it's here where the three of them take Mjolnir and tie it to their ship in hopes of Mjolnir showing them the way to what's causing this multiversal chaos. But then immediately, we jump back over to Earth 818, right where we left off just after the Black Skull's defeat, which had triggered a failsafe for multiple Red Skull variants to make their way to Earth 818 with the hopes of taking the Black Skull's throne by quickly defeating the person who defeated him, with that being the rule that was set in place by the Masters of Evil. But now with us continuing back to the main story, it's here where the Goddesses of Thunder also find themselves arriving here on Earth 818. With Mjolnir leading them exactly to where they needed to go. And with them crashing the party, they're able to recognize rather quickly who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, especially with them seeing symbiotes on the side of the Red Skull, which quickly reminded them of Gore's Necrosword. So without hesitation, they join the fight. helping Tony Stark and the other heroes. But even still, the fight isn't even needed for long, because before you know it, Robbie Reyes, the All-Rider, with his brand new overpowered abilities, uses the symbiote against them and sends all of these Red Skulls back to their worlds, which was a pretty quick and easy fix. But now with this happening, they declare that Earth 818 will never have another Waste Lord after the Black Skull, to where in his case, Robbie has separated him from his symbiote with locking the symbiote in his trunk and then sentencing the Black Skull to forever penance. But even with the Black Skull being taken care of, the rest of the world still has all of the war machines to deal with. So from here, Robbie and Wonder Man, they make their rounds, and over the course of one night, they take out the rest of the war machines to make sure that this world is truly free. But then the next morning when this is done, the Wonder Man of Earth 818 approaches Thor's granddaughters, first asking which of them is a god. And he does this because he wants to know if the gods from their world answer prayers, which right there in itself is a bit of Jason Aaron calling back to himself with a theme that was very heavy in God of Thunder, with Thor answering the prayers of the people of Invade, as well as his numerous encounters with Gore throughout his lifetime that eventually made Thor a better god. But Frigg quickly responds, telling him that her and her sisters are all gods, which then leads Wonder Man to make his prayer known, which is something he'd never done before, given the state of this world where prayers are never answered. But from here, Elsa tells him to go ahead, and Wonder Man prays that he'll never have to kill anyone again, which right away had Atlee like, that's a dumb prayer, which of course is because she's the one that loves to fight. But Elsa at least lets Wonder Man know that his prayer has been heard, as Frigg goes on to tell him that as the daughters of Asgard, they'll do their best to make it so. But also as a quick reminder, before this Wonder Man joined Tony Stark and the others, he had been killing as a form of entertainment in this twisted world, with him being a movie star amongst the Wastelanders in films where people actually died as a form of entertainment. So yeah, it makes sense given the opportunity that he would pray the type of prayer that he did. But with the Goddesses of Thunder knowing that there's more to be done, they make their way to Earth 818 Ant-Man for answers, and it's here where they come to the conclusion that the hammer that he'd found, that was left by the 818 Odin of the Avengers 1 million BC, had called out to their Mjolnir, and this is what led the Goddesses of Thunder here. But also it's here that we find that on Earth 818, there had been a similar moment of it raining Phoenix Fire and Brimstone, which had then caused the other hand of Old Man Phoenix Wolverine to arrive here, with this other hand still being alive, much like the hand that Thor's granddaughters found on New Midgard. And this lets the Goddesses of Thunder know that the body of the Old Man Phoenix has been scattered across the multiverse. And for that reason, their objective has been updated to reassemble Old Man Phoenix as they continue to go forward and do what they can to save the multiverse. But also, before they leave Tony Stark Ant-Man, Robbie Reyes helps repair their ship so they can go on their way, but also before they go, the Goddesses of Thunder leave seeds that they had brought from New Midgard, which were seeds from the Lost Gardens of Asgard, and they leave them behind on Earth 818 to help the scorched wasteland grow and flourish, as a way of leaving this world with hope, and possibly even become the paradise that Earth 818 Odin wanted it to be, back when he adopted this world as his own. And I mean, it's a pretty way for it to come full circle, but it works. But with the Goddesses of Thunder leaving, the Deathlock lets Tony Stark know that him and Robbie gotta get going too. But also now with Moon Knight and Vision missing, since the fight with all the Red Skulls from across the multiverse, Tony lets the Deathlock know that he's gonna go with them, even if there's the slightest chance of him finding the two of them. But before Tony leaves with Robbie and the Deathlock, he tells Infinity Thing to work with Wonder Man on rebuilding this world while they're gone, since saving Earth 818 is pretty much a done deal. But after seeing this, we then head over to the center of Infinity, where we find that it's here where both Moon Knight and Vision had been taken to during that chaotic battle with all the Red Skulls across the multiverse. But while they're here discussing how they're gonna find their way home, they hear a voice behind them saying that they won't be going home anytime soon, not until the war is won, even if it takes forever. And with hearing this, they turn around and see Captain Carter, War Widow, as well as Longbow standing in front of the Avengers Tower. And I mean, with seeing this, I wouldn't have minded if War Widow had instead went by Iron Widow, but I get it, she's more like War Machine, so there's that. But in the case of Clint Barton going by Longbow, I feel like there was a missed opportunity to just call him Purple Arrow, because he looks like he's gonna turn around and say, "You felt this city." And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.